You know, I find it very ironic now that this is one of my favorite movies, along with Batman Begins. And I say it's ironic because back when this movie first came out, I didn't particularly like it. Now, before you start throwing fruits and vegetables at me that you just so happen to have during a speech, I'll explain why I didn't really like this movie. Why I didn't really like this movie that much. It's not that I didn't like it. It's just that I was very confused about it. See, the thing is, back when I was younger, I was a big Batman fan. The Batman that I was more used to and more adjusted to was the, big action, blockbuster Batman. And that's the thing, that's just a certain Batman movie, Batman movies and cartoons that I like. The more, blockbuster action, popcorn eating Batman movie. And I wasn't really adjusted to the dark story driven and character driven Batman movie that was The Dark Knight. I was very confused after walking out of the theater, and I didn't particularly like it as much as I liked Batman Begins or any of the other Batman movies before. And you're probably saying, oh, well, Batman Begins did have, some, dark story driven, and character driven moments. But the thing is, that, movie like that, it did have some blockbuster, action mode. Not that Dark Knight doesn't have those, still does, but I think Batman Begins had more of those moments. But it's actually kind of ironic that the thing I hated this movie for back when I first saw it is the thing that I love it for now, and that's the driving point of this movie: the story, the characters, and the dark, realistic tone of the movie. That's what drives the whole Christopher Nolan Batman saga. That it's more darker and character driven than any of the other Batman movies. And that's what I like about this movie so much, is that it has so many things in it, and it does stuff that other Batman movies have not done, It has a dark ending that you really don't know, well, am I supposed to feel good about that? Am I supposed to feel bad about that? Or, it's very mixed, but, not really mixed, sort of like the Batman Returns ending. But, sort of a mix that you sort of know. It's very confusing. But there are many other things in this movie that make it good besides the characters and the story. What about the acting? The actors in this movie do a great job. Like Christian Bale. Christian Bale reprises his role as Bruce Wayne and as Batman, and he does a phenomenal job as always. Even a better job than he did in Batman Begins. So, he does a great job. I really don't need to milk it, any further. We also have Aaron Eckhart playing the second villain in this movie, Harvey Dent, a.k.a. Two-Face. And if it wasn't for Heath Ledger's performance in this movie, I definitely do think he would have been given an Oscar, or at best an Oscar nomination, because he does a very good job in here. I found it, his Harvey Dent to be very, very, I found it to be very buyable. That, I guess that's the word. I know the word, it's forgotten. We also have Maggie Gyllenhaal replacing Katie Holmes as Rachel Dawes in here, and she does a very better and very better job than Katie Holmes did. But there's not really much to say about that, so I'm just gonna glance over. But the actor that everyone talks about whenever this movie's brought up in the conversation is Heath Ledger's performance as the Joker. Now, what can I really say about the Joker here that has not been said over three kajillion times before, but done better? He's great. He's awesome. He's spectacular. But that's not saying much. He's great. Like, what can I really say? I thought he was great. It's sort of like, saying, talking about, how great Jack Nicholson is and, Batman 1989. It doesn't really say much. It's just, you have to analyze and talk about it more. And that is one question that I do get a lot whenever I bring this movie up in a conversation. Who's your favorite Joker, Jack Nicholson or Heath Ledger? Well, the thing is, and I think James Rolfe of Cinemassacre put it best when he said, it's comparing, Jack Nicholson to Heath Ledger is sort of like comparing Jack Nicholson to Cesar Romero. They're two completely and utterly different Jokers, and to put it best, my favorite Joker of all time is the Batman animated series Joker, the Mark Hamill Joker / the Justice League Joker, and the Batman Arkham game Jokers. Only because, I'm not going to say it now, I have to get into the whole thing, so I'll probably mention that when I do a Batman the Animated Series review. But, the thing is, like I said, they're two completely different Jokers, and that's the thing, Heath Ledger's Joker brought something completely new to the table that I don't think any other Joker did, was that he was scary. The other Jokers, they were creepy and they were intimidating, but they were never really scary. This other, on the other hand, is a scary and sadistic bastard. Because he is fucking insanely scary. Like, that's the thing about all the other Batman, Jokers. They were never particularly scary. They were creepy. They got down the creepy part. So did Heath Ledger. But he got the scary and intimidating part down to a T. And that's the reason why I like this Heath Ledger Joker a lot. He's more darker, more serious, more scary than I think any of the other Jokers were. So there you go. And there's only really one complaint I have in this movie that I think a lot of people overlook, is the Joker's plan. The Joker later says in this movie that he's sort of like a dog chasing after a car. He doesn't really particularly know what he's going to do with the car if he does catch it, and he's sort of like a man without a plan. I have to call BS on that because, you can't, so you're meaning to tell me and the rest of Gotham and the rest of, and Batman that you basically put all this up, put all this, sort of like dominoes, put all these dominoes up without a plan, and they all just sort of fell through without a single, without any hitch in the plan? Like, really? You just did all this, basically corrupted a district attorney, and, had this whole huge moral battle, and you just did not even plan it? Yeah, I call BS on that, Joker. I call B to the S. Plain and simple. But other than that, there are no problems with this movie whatsoever. This is a complete and utter work of art, basically. That's the best way I can put this movie. It's a work of art, and it did something that Batman movies, as well as comic book movies, never did before. They made it about something. And Batman Begins did do that, but this perfected that idea. It was more about, it's more than about, it was something more than, two guys in colorful suits, punching each other for 2.5 hours. It did something, and it doesn't end like any other superhero movie would end. It doesn't end with the hero, standing triumphant, high in the sky. It ends with the guy running off, taking the blame for something he didn't do. Like, that's no other way that a superhero movie ends. It's something that has not been done before, and it's very original and new, and even today, it's new, and the movie's only 4 years old. And that's why I'm going to have to give Batman, The Dark Knight, a perfect 10 out of 10 Batarangs. There are literally virtually no problems with this movie at all. And even the action scenes, like Spider-Man 2 was a big improvement from the first movie. They are shot more thoroughly and more, it was actually shot. It didn't look like this, the cameraman is having a seizure. It actually looked, shot well. And that's, a very big improvement. And that's why this movie is a tremendous work of art. It is basically everything that, superhero movies, well, not superhero movies, but everything that a good movie should be. And it's ironic that it's a Batman movie, You think this is, stuff that's in this movie is shit that you would get in, Law and Order. And that's the thing, it doesn't feel like a Batman movie. It feels like an actual movie. Like, if you took out Batman, the Joker, and replaced them with just some guy, some cop, and some super cop, and some other sadistic bastard, then you would basically have an actual movie that's not like Batman, or anything like that. So that's why this movie is basically just tremendously great. So stay tuned for my review of The Dark Knight Rises, coming out Friday. I can't see it in midnight release. It sold out those tickets, so I'm going to see it on Friday. So I'm so excited. I cannot wait. I cannot wait how they explain all the stuff that happened in Batman, The Dark Knight. I'm so excited, so stay tuned for that review. I'm so excited for that movie, so stay tuned. Stay tuned. See you soon.